See, Jordan Latimer says, if I could pick the Knicks' next head coach, who would it be? I'm really, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't know what Cleveland's doing because I don't think they have really committed to JB Bickerstaff. But if they don't, I think that would be an outstanding fit for them. They definitely need some new blood. I would love to see Jeff Van Gundy come back. I also would be interested in seeing what would happen with Mark Jackson as a head coach of the Knicks. Um, but those would be the three names that come to me. I got a crazy name to throw out to you guys. And I had a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. And this is about the Bulls, because I think obviously the Bulls need a new head coach too. Jim Boylan's hot, big old trash, right? Now, this is a crazy name, and I don't really expect anybody to have any definitive necessarily opinion about this because the person I'm about to say has no experience as a head coach. But it feels to me like, from a leadership standpoint, from a hard work standpoint, from a basketball IQ standpoint, tell me you cannot imagine Kirk Heinrich as a head coach, at least as an assistant working his way up. I just believe, I just believe that Kirk Heinrich, if he wanted to, I have no idea about what his motivations are, if his aspirations are to be a coach at all. I have no idea. He may be a guy who wants to go straight to the front office, but he definitely feels like a basketball lifer who would want to remain around and in the game. But he just strikes me as a guy who would have the ability to transition into a role like that. So I would love to see if the Bulls groomed him to perhaps to be a coach down the line. Maybe you hire him as an assistant. He comes on, he watches. You hire him as an assistant to a veteran coach who doesn't plan on being there for a long period of time anyway. Somebody who's going to come in there, be the head coach for 3 years, maybe get him going in the right direction. Same philosophy. Kirk Heinrich picks that up and goes from there. I think that would be something that would be very interesting to see. But from a more practical standpoint, because that's really kind of like a shot in the dark there. But Adrian Griffin is really the guy I think that the Bulls really need to be looking at. I mean, this guy has toiled as a highly respected assistant for years. He is a veteran. Played in the NBA for multiple years. Played for the Bulls amongst several other teams, and he has really earned his stripes as an assistant. And he is on most teams' short list as a major or a significant candidate for almost every head coaching job. And for whatever reason, he's thrown his hat in the ring several times, and he hasn't ever had his name called for that role. Right now, I believe he's a head coach in maybe in the G League. I'm not sure. It's something like that. I know he's coaching right now. But to me, he is a guy he's a Tom Thibodeau disciple, so I don't know how Chicago management would feel about bringing in a Tibbs guy, considering the way that relationship parted. But I love Adrian Griffin. I love what he brings from a defensive standpoint, holding guys accountable, which is something I don't know necessarily that there's a balance there. But for the Bulls, I think he'd be a great pick. And obviously, if the Knicks have an opening, I don't think it would be bad for them to call Adrian Griffin's name either. So both teams need a new head coach. Both teams need new front office people. Both teams, quite frankly, need new ownership. But I think everybody knows that that's not realistic. Dolan's not selling that team. Reinsdorf's not selling the Bulls. It is what it is. And as a fan of those franchises, you kind of just got to eat it because it's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's almost like the WWE, right? There's so many people who are so dissatisfied with the WWE product. You know, they got all these crazy stereotypes. Everything's predictable with the storylines. Now you're looking at it and you're like, okay, he's going over tonight because clearly Vince wants this guy pushed and da 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 third, right? But Vince is he's the major shareholder. He's the CEO. He calls the shots. He is a very much a micromanager, and he wants to have final say in every single booking decision that ever takes place with WWE. And if you're a fan of WWE, you're probably frustrated, but you know that as long as he is alive, and obviously you don't want anybody to die, but as long as he's the man in charge, it's going to be run like this. And love it or hate it, this is the way it's going to be run. And I think Bulls and Knicks fans are in very similar situations. You're frustrated because the way ownership has done things, and you would love if there was a new owner, but it's probably not really realistic. So it just is what it is. A lot of people waiting on CM Punk to return to the ring. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. I'm sure Vince would love for him to do it, even though they've had situations and issues. But money is money, and they know where that would bring it in. But
pocket, I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.